Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to 101 on Arsenal. David, hello. Everyone's jumping in ready, man, because we have lots of things to talk about, man. And it's a nice one, David. Vincey, what's going on, bro? Nice to see you. D, what's going on, D? See this in my recommend videos. Yeah, man, I didn't get it early and up and running long enough. I was out visiting my sister. So I was in Northwest 10 visiting my sister. Vince is saying, posted the 101 link from a friendship. Yeah, oh no, you're talking about Gabrielle. Yeah, we'll come into that in a second, bro. We'll come into that in a second. But nice to see you guys. Welcome to our panel. So, Dan, how you been, man? How you been, FA Cup winner this week? How you been enjoying it,
I've been so gassed all week, man. Like I can't get enough of the behind the scenes stuff and you seen that tunnel cam video where Emmy's talking to the staff member and the staff member's like, oh, you got a bonus. He's like, I don't care about the money, bro. That stuff is inspiring as hell, bro. Like I love it. I've loved all of it. I've loved every single day since we won the FA Cup.
Listen, I've been trying to celebrate every day, every minute of the day. I've been on Twitter just spamming, man. And funny enough, a lot of my Chelsea friends have been in hiding. There's only one guy, and I want to shout him out, Lewis Ben, Mastermind. Lewis, big respect, because you were the one that came out and said, "Congratulations, Gooners! You done it. You played well on the day, and FA Cup's yours and ting." So listen, big respect to you, Liz. Outside of that, Chelsea friend man been hiding, not posting nothing. Man's just reading with his two eyes. You know the two googly eyes you see? Man's just reading, man. Neomis, how you getting on, bro?
I've been good. After Saturday's performance, what can you say? It was just a fantastic end to the season, and for us just to lift the trophy like how we have been, and then for all the fans really to come together. I know with the whole COVID stuff that's going on, I really loved it. Really loved it. I just wish that I could have been there and been more involved myself. But just looking for just a really good end to the season and looking forward to the next.
Yeah, man, for real. And Style, good to see you, Style. Good to see you, Joseph. Good to see you, 18. Listen, man, let's talk about the news. Ebony, how have you been? Ebony's at work, guys.
Dedication.
Yeah, I know. No, I've been all right actually, working and stuff like that, and just I've also been watching videos upon videos of the highlights upon the highlights upon the highlights, and taking the mickey out of people on different football fan pages on Facebook. But some Tottenham fans can't take it, so But then again, it's not bad for eighth place, and it's not bad for us making Tottenham having to play 3 extra games to actually get into the qualifying round.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So let me go around before we start talking about transfer stuff. Let me go around the panel and find out what your top 3 moments were over the last weekend. Dan, should we start with you, bro? And guys in the chat, if you want to tell me what your top 3 moments were over the weekend, it would be great to hear how you guys were all sharing the FA Cup experience.
So what was the question, Apollo? Cut out for a second.
What was your top 3 best moments over the weekend in terms of when being FA Cup winners? What was the 3 things you're going to remember the most?
Aubameyang's the way he destroyed Kurt Zuma, bro. My man sent him back to Stoke, fam. I'm telling you, that was ridiculous. But yeah, that definitely. You know what sticks out in my mind? Emery's save from Mason Mount as well. That bit there was like they were starting, and then Xhaka's dive. That was a lovely moment from the final as well. We're always the victim of that stuff, so it's nice to see it happen to someone we're playing against. 2 fouls we had in that whole game, bro. 2 fouls we had in that entire game, and I swear down. Let me tell you something. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I see Anthony Taylor in his car, in a McDonald's drive-through or something like that. It was like a drive-through somewhere, and I was like to my missus, and then he looked shook, bro. And then my missus was like, "See, that's why, because he got scared. That's why he didn't give no fouls or nothing against Arsenal. So you can thank me for
This
us.
is mad. Ebony, what was your top 3 moments over the weekend? Most memorable.
Winning the FA Cup, full stop. After, I think we were the underdogs, actually, taking into consideration that we were 8th and we were a little bit on the back foot, taking into consideration that we should have won games where we lost. Number 2, Martinez sitting down, doing a video call with his family in tears. That really kind of, it brought a tear to my eye almost, because, you know, remember he left when he was 17 against family's wishes, but he needed to, you know, make money to, you know, to help them. And also just the amount of celebrations and, you know, watching Chelsea fans being gutted, taking into consideration that, you know, for the first 15 minutes that they were on the front foot, and then we just came back. And so but you know, the biggest thing for me is actually winning the FA Cup against all odds.
So Niamis, before I come to you, let me just have a look and see what our guys are saying in the chat. So we've got Uzuki, who's saying still buzzing from Saturday's result. Nice consolidation prize for absolute toilet of the season. Yeah, and as I said, we done flushed that season down the toilet, so that gone as far as I'm concerned. All I can remember is us lifting the cup. 18 is saying that goal, the Aubameyang goal, Martinez crying, Spurs getting kicked back. Yep, for real. Let's have a look. David's saying YouTube cutting out. Everything's okay on my screen. I can't see anything on there. Vince is saying, number 1, Bertram not celebrating our victory with 5 minutes to go. That's always him, man, every week. While the rest of the panel will jump in for joy. Number 2, that goal, for real, man. Martinez. Number 3, interview. And he's actually put a bonus in there. Bellerin doing his Forrest Gump impression. For real, man. Cricket ball.
Can I just change one of my moments? One of my let me just say the moment that really sticks out in my head is Auba at the end, bruv. What was he doing with that base of the trophy, fam? What was he thinking?
Exactly what
I've
I
never
was
seen
going to
anyone
say.
lift that up in my life.
All he had to do was lift it up. Don't worry about the base.
Listen, you only have to look
at the telly. I was like, leave the base, fam. What are you doing?
You only have to look at man's haircut to see.
Trophy, though.
Yeah, he's not used to lifting up trophies. You're right.
Yeah, you only have to see where man's haircut is to see anything else, man. Lord. So, guys, let's have a look. So we've got Kuke saying Uber's goal, Martinez crying, Chelsea fans moaning. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on. Joseph is saying Ceballos masterclass, Uber making a fool out of Zuma, and Pepe taking a mick out of Alonso. Yes, bro. Bertram, he works, finishes at 5, which actually is UK time, 10 p.m. So that's why sometimes when we roll over to 10 p.m., then he joins in late. But it's difficult for us when we have a Wednesday start around 8 or 9 o'clock in New York. That's still time where he's working. So that's why you don't normally see him on a Wednesday evening until it's really late. Neomis.
Well, for me, a lot of the things that I would have said was my top 3 already been said, but for me, it has to be Martinez. I mean, for how long he's been at the club, the fact that, you know, he's been so instrumental in how Arsenal finished the season strongly, and then the emotion that he had, I think for me that has to be number 1. Second, if I watched it on BBC One, so every time they show Arsenal winning the FA Cup, they showed all the Chelsea players, including Olivier Giroud, Willian, with these dead.
Hilarious.
You know, they would show an Arsenal player cheering, and then it's like Giroud just dead, like, you know, just like that just made my day. And I know with Giroud's a little different because like he wanted to play in the World Cup and all of that, but the rest of those players, like, they were just they're just so sad. Like I loved it. And then thirdly, it's got to be Ian Wright. I mean, like, that guy is just on commentary. I mean, the smile that he had, the grinning. having Ian right there, he's just an Arsenal fan that's just been asked to talk about Arsenal and like just let it out. And for me as an Arsenal fan, I love to see Ian right when he's on doing the punditry.
Yeah.
Can I just add one more? Can I just add one more as well? There's a shot where you've got the Arsenal celebrating and they're taking pictures. They're all on the floor, and then you see like an image of the Chelsea players in the seats, and two of them walk off. Have you seen that one?
I love all that stuff. I love all that stuff. Yeah, I love it. He's asking where the African Gooner is. He's right here. I think he's late to the party. Actually, he didn't confirm to me that he was going to make it. I knew he was busy because his workload. Yeah, his workload has been quite heavy. African Gooner. Everyone's just talking about their top 3 moments of the weekend. D is just saying, love Righty, South London, a real world struggler, greatest schooner of all time. And listen, I ain't going to complain about that, man, because, you know, I'm not going to complain about that. Righty being the greatest schooner of all time. Some people might say Tony Adams, but where is Tony Adams in the eyes of the fans right now? He is a bit part player, whereas Righty is right among the action, man. It's almost as if the man never left.
Yeah.
African Gooner, what's your top 3 moments over the weekend? Most memorable moments?
Yeah, most memorable moments. I think the first one has to be Aubameyang screaming right, then just scooping the ball and then chipping the keeper. I mean, those type of finishes, let alone in a final. I mean, yeah, world-class finish. The second one definitely would be just lifting the trophy, the whole team, and Arteta and the celebrations when he was in the middle of the Arsenal crest with the trophy and all the players around him. That was incredible to watch. And yeah, the third one would be Tottenham having to play 3 qualifying matches to qualify for Europa. That's just bittersweet. It's like the icing on the top.
Oh, for real, mate, for real. Kuke sent Apollo with another anime. Yeah, this one is Dragon Ball Z. He spotted that from a mile off. Bertram, I know Bertram's at work, but he's still able to find out what's going on the show. So nice to see you on there. Pulisic pulling up is and Uber sending Zuba home and a crossover. Unbridled celebration by the team, definitely. That's one of the most things that I think that all of us can agree with. For me, I've got a shall I actually say this? Yeah, I might as well. I've got a confession to make. Everybody on 101 knows what my guilty pleasure is, and that is after we beat Tottenham or after we beat Chelsea, I run over to their forums to have a listen to what the fans are talking about. Not just that though, but I go to their game day. I go to their game threads, and I read all the build up to it where they say, yeah, we're going to slam them, we're going to do them, we're going to do Woolwich, we're going to do the Gooners, we're going to do all that. I hear all the chat, and as the goals go in, you hear what the fans are typing. So I read all the transcript completely, and the fans are like, yes, we're going. You know, when Chelsea went 1-0 up, they're like, we're going to smash them, we're going to do them 3-0, we're going to do them 4-1, just like in Baku. And then as the goals Arsenal start going in, you see all the language coming out. Oh, F. No, don't tell me this is going to happen again. No. And you can hear it go on. And when the winner went through, all you could hear and see was just swearing left, right, and center. And people were saying, some actually said they've been the better team on the day, and we're just complaining for the sake of it. We're in no way were we good enough to win this game, which is actually what Frank Lampard said. But guys, my guilty pleasure is reading the misery of Chelsea fans while this was going on in real time. There is no better reading in the world outside of the Bible than reading the misery of football fans. So that's how I spent most of my weekend. So guys,
don't think I didn't go on Chelsea fan TV and I was just laughing. There's one guy, I can't remember his name, but he was just like effing this, effing that, and that effing ref.
And actually, guys, well done to all of you who went over to Troops' cousin Expressions. Expressions made a video the next day, effing and blinding about us knocking them back in the Europa Cup, and that was a blessing. And so enjoyable.
I saw that.
Yeah?
Outside of church.
Yeah, man, I was praying, Anyway, listen, fantastic stuff, fantastic. So, guys, some quick updates today. obviously, just get the sad part out the way. You guys heard about the redundancies. Sadly, it's inevitable in a business when you've got a reduced revenue. The vast amounts of money that's flying around in football, when you take it away from you, you realize how brittle the game can be and ownership can be. And look, we've talked about this on the show nearly every week. Every week we always bring up, if the fans don't return to the stadium, we will miss on 155 million, or, you know, somewhere around thereabouts. The gate receipts is 96 million alone. So we're not talking about concessions, beer, hot dogs, all that stuff. Everything adds up to about 155 million. But just based on the gate money, it's 96 million. And a lot of the teams try to take pay cuts to facilitate the losses, but all of that is gone. It's done now, and we're moving into next season, which means all those teams that did the pay cuts, that's all gone. So players are going to be making their full amount now. They only agreed to take these pay cuts in, you know, at the end of the season. So that's pretty much gone. Only the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo were the ones that were saying up till the end of September and things like that. So guys, Arsenal came out and made a statement, said that they'd been impacted directly by COVID-19. They claim the revenue, broadcasters, match day revenue, commercial activities are all reduced significantly. Because look, if Adidas and if you know, Indesit, if all this stuff that they've got going on, if they book sponsor evenings where the players have got to show up, sign autographs, do this stuff to promote their brand, all of that is a big thing which is paid for, and it happens behind closed doors. That's all gone. So that means the sponsorship money in effect is slightly less, because all those things are included in the sponsorship deal. So the guys, they're really struggling right now. I just want to get your opinions to go around the panel to hear. You know, it's not a good thing when 55 people who love your club and are close to your club and are in and around the everyday workings of the team, when they have to go, it's quite sad. And I don't even know, I haven't heard anything, whether it's catering, whether it's groundsman or anything like that. I really don't know where it is. But Dan, I'll start with you first, bro. What's your feelings on that?
It's sad. It's definitely sad. But what I've heard, I don't know how accurate this is, but I heard that it's mostly scouting stuff, because Arsenal are looking to head towards a more agent-led model. We've heard that for a little while, isn't it? That we're going to be utilising agents a lot more. And that means that a lot of our scouting staff are essentially redundant before we made them redundant. There was nothing for them to do. You only need a few scouts to send over to check someone that's been presented to you by an agent or something like that. So at the same, it is sad. Yeah, they've dedicated a lot of time to Arsenal and stuff, but if they're not going to be useful, then we needed to get rid of them at some point anyway. So if that is the reason, I understand it perfectly. Do you know what I mean? But if it isn't, and it's just like you're saying, catering staff, match day staff and that, hopefully when the fans start coming back in, they'll get their jobs back. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's sad, but it's expected, man. Like, we're not the only one who's going to be laying people off, I tell you that.
Oh, everybody's in it, bro.
We'll probably be laying off the least people.
Yeah, everybody's in it. And it's actually a good point. It's a good point you bring up, because when all those agents and scouts and everything were let go, we were actually talking about it in the show, and somebody made a comment that the official word was they were allowed to reapply for the jobs in September. Well, there's not going to be any jobs to reapply for. So those scouting people who were grooming our younger players that we let go in the summer, they're gone. It's in the spring. We let them go in the spring. They're gone. And they won't be coming back until this thing is fixed. So, yeah, it's a real shame. Ebony, what's your thoughts on that?
You know, one of the most hurtful things is reading today about the scout, the international scout that was at the club for 20 years. I can't pronounce his name properly, but I actually feel it for him. I feel it for the rest of the scouts as well. And it does actually make you wonder, yes, the 55 people are mainly scouts, but then how many other members of staff as well? You know, does that, you know, do those redundancies relate to the shops, the two shops, the Armory and the other shop on the other side of the stadium? Does it relate to people who work on the ground as well? Does it relate to admin staff as well? I mean, these people are I would say I would like to think that they're Arsenal through and through. With regards to the club and the dedication, the years that they've put into the club. It's not nice losing your job, but this is what COVID's done, you know, you have to take into consideration that, you know, COVID has done a lot of damage to a lot of industries, and it's inevitable that it's going to be playing its part on sport as well. It doesn't fill me with any great pleasure seeing them go, because these are people who have actually gone out, spent years looking for players to actually make the club what it is today.
And let's remember one thing, Ebony, is that this is just the start. People think that, oh, you know, this is a repercussion. No, this is just the start. We are, you know, everything has been looked after. Furlough's been a thing. So when furlough ends in October, I mean, right now it's already gone down to 60% of salary, so it's not even 80% salary. So, but when it's completely gone, the amount of football teams, especially in the Championship and Division 1, that had staff and all that stuff on furlough, well, those people are going to be coming back now, and you as a football club, you've got to either pay for them or let them go. So we haven't even scratched the surface. You know, we haven't even seen the real impact of what's going to happen. And clubs, unfortunately, like Wigan, are going to be in trouble. Clubs are going to go down, and we need to brace for impact. We've got to be ready for that. Neomis.
I mean, when I heard the news earlier on today, I mean, it's disappointing for anyone to lose their jobs. I can't even, you know, tell you guys that, you know, that with us losing scouts and with us moving in a different model is somewhat better. But, you know, the fact of the matter remains, you know, anyone losing their job is a sad thing. And you just have to hope that this whole global situation will change in the next few months. I know there were talks about a month ago about, you know, fans getting back in the stadium by 1st of October, and you just have to hope and wish that that's still the case.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I know that there's been some polls going around with fans, and a lot of the fans. It's a minority of fans that want to go back. It's a majority of fans that won't. I mean, I've been a season ticket holder at the Emirates since the stadium opened up, and there's nothing that you can pay me to go back into that stadium with COVID the way it is right now. I mean, you know, things just aren't working. They launched this thing called Eat Out to Help Out on Monday. And it's through from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, yeah? And I'm driving around looking at these places, and it's empty. No one's going for it. No one, a little piece of £10 or whatever that they're giving you off a meal, it ain't working. People are valuing their lives more than anything else. So, you know, it's just not working, mate.
But with that in mind, then you have to ask, like, how are certain football clubs going to survive? Because then you're talking about next year as well, or potentially a whole nother season without potential income. This is very dangerous. I just try to be positive and hope that things could somehow get to some type of positive resolution at some point.
And it's funny because their profit margins are high. Let's not make no bones about it. It's a very profitable business to be in, and for those who have looked after their money and looked after their books and paid their players well. You know, let's see how this fantastic sustainable business model really helps us in a time of need. For me, as an Arsenal fan, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at it to say now, and as all the recklessness from other teams gonna put them into trouble, as the sustainable model that Arsenal have been running gonna save them. And these are the questions I'm gonna be asking leading up to the end of the year. Let African Guna.
Yeah, I mean, like everyone else said, it's quite sad to hear. But as Dan said, I think it's a lot of the scouting network since we're changing into the new model. And I did read on Twitter somewhere that, I mean, a lot of these cost savings is gonna help our transfer budget. And I mean, I'm sure we'll be talking about it later, but it seems like we're close to signing 3 players in the next few days. And if that's the case, I mean, as an international Arsenal fan that's not really going to the games in London and stuff, I don't really see all this stuff. And for me, what's most important is seeing what's on the pitch. And it's just a sad reality that other teams as well are going to have to let go, as we said, right? I mean, this is just stage 1. I don't think fans are going to be going into, into stadiums until at least 2021. So this might just be the first round of, I guess, furloughs. And yeah, I mean, it's sad, but it's also a harsh reality. And I see people making comments about Ozil and stuff. And I mean, it's not the right context. This is completely different. It's because of the pandemic, and it's not in our control, right? So Arsenal as a business needs to take the right precautions. And it's just like any other job in the world, right? I mean, costs and saving money and looking at costs saving, initiatives are what businesses are all about. I mean, they still need to be eating bread. They still need to be able to buy bread for their own families at the end of the day, right? So it's just a harsh reality of life.
And if you're a badly run business, it's this type of thing that's going to expose your frailties. So, guys, let's talk about the hot news right now in town. We'll start with Aubameyang. So, Aubameyang at the moment, guys, apparently it looks like there's been some kickback. He was offered a 3-year deal at 250 grand a week, but today's news is that he has come back to Arsenal and said he wants 300 grand a week. So I think the good thing and the most positive thing to take from this is he's listening, 1. 2, he's made a counter offer. So the fact that there's been a counter offer made and the fact that he's listened shows that he's interested in staying here. So I think that's the message that Arsenal fans have to take as the most important news coming out of this. Not that he's signed or anything like that, that he's willing, that he's listening, and that he does have an interest in staying in London and playing for Arsenal. Dan, what's your thoughts about the captain possibly staying and signing a 300 grand a week contract for 3 seasons?
It's worth every penny, isn't it? Like I think if we don't just sign him up, we're dumb as hell, bro. This is the best player I've seen at Arsenal since Thierry Henry. I get gassed a lot, about players and stuff. When Alexis was here, I was so gassed, but 109 games, 70 goals, bro. That is madness, bro. Like, when you see people like Alan Shearer talk about him and sucking him off big time, bro, like a cheap hooker, bro. I'm telling you, this guy is and Alan Shearer is one of the greatest goal scorers you've ever seen in the Premier League, and even he can recognise the talent this guy's got. If we let him go, we're so dumb. He's going to be sick till he's 35. You get me? He's got years in him. Look at Vardy. He's way better than Vardy ever been. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just think if we don't give him what he wants, just give him what he wants. If we said 300, cool, take that over, sign, bang, problem done, and then we can move on to our other targets. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to sort him out before we even think about buying anyone, because he's the main man. So yeah, that's what I think about it.
Ebony, good idea that he's starting to play ball with us.
Yes, because we want him to stay. His goals have actually gotten us out of big holes. So as far as I'm concerned, if he wants 300,000 pounds a week, and I'm actually quite cautious about that, taking into consideration the redundancies that have just been made. But if you want to keep one of your best players, you have got to give them what they want. That's how it works now. Yeah. So, we've been a club for too many years. We've let our best players go and we've not really replaced them. So, if Auba is willing to listen and he's willing to negotiate, just give him 300,000 pounds a week.
Yeah, Neil, do you agree with that?
Okay, I hadn't heard that news until you said it today. And yes, I agree everything. Aubameyang is our best player, but we just finished talking about the financial constraints going on right now, just with all football clubs and with Arsenal. Like, are we really gonna start getting back into where we're offering that big of a contract? Now, if Arsenal have the money to be able to afford that, then so be it. Maybe there are other things in the background that we don't know just yet. But
do you want to let Dan step in? Dan's got a question for you.
Yeah, go on, Dan.
Because in the official statement from Arsenal today, this is the official statement on Arsenal.com. Yeah, they said that we've got money due to the money that Stan's put in that means our transfer business is unaffected. So therefore, we have got the money to pay to Auba. That's all I'm saying. Officially from Arsenal, this ain't no speculation thing. You get me?
Yeah,
so
but
that's what I'm gonna say. So we have got the money to pay. So
even though, Dan, that was something that we've all been speculating on this show over the few weeks. Once those 2 bonds went in, obviously, being Arsenal Supporters Trust and going to the meetings, we were always, in 2014, we were promised that transfer money from our sponsorship deals would be used to buy players, and they've been honest with that and truthful with that. And this is the reason why, people used to call Gazidis and all them man liars and lie and this and that and da. And I get really antsy when I hear those things, because the team have been honest and telling the truth for the last 6 years. And that's how I judge them. I judge them on what I see happening in the market, what I see going on with our commercial business, and putting the 2 and 2 together. And they are spending exactly what they said they were going to spend in. When it was 120 million, that's what they spent, 160 million, so we can see what's going on. But let's be on. Let's make sure we're wearing the right hat here as fans and setting the right expectations, because this transfer budget, guys, is over 12 months. So it includes the summer and January. So some people get confused with that. They're like, well, we spent this, right? What we've got to spend in January? No.
We never spend in January. We barely ever spend in January.
And that's because we normally spend all of our money in the summer. So if you suck up all that money in transfer kit in the summer, you can't spend in the new year unless you sell players. So the thing, Neil, miss, back to your statement, the thing that we're seeing now, Chelsea have just put 10 players up for sale on the market.
Yep.
Arsenal, I'm hearing, are going to be selling 6 to 8 players. So that is really the plan. As the African Guna said, a good financial advisor, financial director, a good chief negotiator, and ours is Has Fahmy from Team Sky. A good person can balance the books and knows how to manage the money. And I've seen that happen for the last 2 years, that the money has been handled very carefully, considering the mess that Dick Law left us in, which caused all sorts of problems with Ozil, Sanchez, Aaron Ramsey. That's gone. And when people keep moaning about it, I'm like, no, judge Has Fahmy on what he's doing right now. The first thing Has Fahmy did was give Aubameyang 200 grand a week when he came in and signed. They gave Ozil the deal, didn't they? Because obviously the fans were like, we're going to lose we've lost Sanchez, we're going to lose. So, but outside of that, he's been playing players quite lucrative, and Lacazette's on a good salary. Pepe's on a decent salary. So he's been paying some lucrative salary. So we can't really complain at the moment. Have you finished? Shall we go on to African Guna?
Yeah, no, go. I mean, my main concern is that I did not want in my head, I was thinking I didn't want it to be another Ozil situation, but for me, Aubameyang's just been far too consistent to even put him in that category. But the fact that, it's confirmed that we have that money to spend, then I think it's a fair amount, for us to spend. He's our best player by far. So, let's just get the job done. If it's with 250, 300 he wants, then so be it for 3 years.
And one thing on that, players are different. Everybody keeps their body in a certain shape, and when players are on the decline, which we've seen with Ozil's numbers, then it's quite evident to see the decline. I'm the biggest Ozil fan on the panel, and I have to admit that he is in decline. He's just not the same player that he used to be. Half of that is because of what happened with a lot of the changes, which forced Giroud out the team, Walcott out the team. Sometimes when the system changes and the philosophies change and you're playing with wing backs, it kind of negates, having an anchor man or having a true winger or having. So that's the reason why sometimes you just got to say goodbye and move on. And that's the case with Ozil. But when you consider that Ozil is 31, Aubameyang's 31, Williams 31, and out of those 3 players, who's the productive players? Aubameyang's just scored 29 goals last season. Is he dropping off? No. Williams scored 11 goals and 9 assists last season as a winger. Is he dropping off? No. So it's easy to kind of quantify paying William that money, paying Aubameyang that money, and then paying Ozil that money, because what are you getting in return? African Guna.
Yeah, just a couple of things. The first thing is, you said Ozil is in decline. That's wrong. He's finished. So he's not in decline. He's finished. It's done now. We can't keep saying he's in decline. It's done. It's finished. I mean, That is over with. All Arsenal
comment.
fans around the world, we're done with that. I mean, we don't talk about it anymore because he doesn't play for Arsenal anymore. We just pay him and he plays Fortnite. That's pretty much it. The second thing, you keep saying William, it's Willian with the N.
Willian,
That's the second thing. The third thing is I actually haven't heard about the 300K. My impression is, from what I've read at least, is that we've offered him the 250K. He hasn't agreed yet because he's waiting on lucrative offers from Barcelona or Real Madrid, which haven't come yet. And he also wants to see what's going to be happening in terms of Arsenal's ambition of who they're going to sign. And it seems that the Willian deal is pretty much done. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Aubameyang is going to sign a contract, whether it's 250 or 300K. That's fine. And I think Lacazette is going to get sold this summer.
Excellent. And I can see that happening because of the weight of what's going on at the moment. So let's talk about Willian. Willian is, guys, the deal is, we know the contract's been offered. We know he's been telling his friends. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. He's telling his friends, I'm going to sign for Arsenal. But really what it came down to is the agent said they had 4 offers. And the only 2 offers that are on the table for the player was one from Arsenal. And do you guys know what the other offer was from?
Yeah, Barcelona.
Chelsea.
No.
Nah, Miami.
Yeah, Golden Balls. The other
Miami.
other offer was from Beckham's team in the MLS, which was actually offering him somewhere around 180 grand a week. Sorry, guys, I'm still recovering from this thing last week. So it looks like William obviously wants to stay in London, doesn't want to go to the States. So by all accounts, this is a done deal. I've had about 3 people today say to me, it's just the formalities now. What they're actually working on and what's complicated is Arsenal, William wants to sign for as long as possible, 3-year. I think it's a 3-year with 4-year option. I'm even hearing at the moment there's actually going to be an option, but the option you should never worry about, because when there's an option in the contract, that's always to the accreditation of the team that is signed in the contract, not the player. The player doesn't decide; it's the team. So I think that we're in a good stead here. 130 grand a week. Even John Cross was talking about it today. That is his preferred destination. It's basically done. I think another 7 to 10 days, and after, obviously Chelsea still have a game to play, don't they? So it's but he's not fit enough to play in that game. So regardless of what happens, he's played his last game for Chelsea. So whether they would want to let him go earlier because they know he's gone, then that would be a great thing. I can't wait to see him in an Arsenal shirt, and I can't wait to see him because look, I'm going to be straight and honest with you guys as I always am. I'm a big Reiss Nelson fan, and if this means that we put Reiss Nelson on loan for a year, which I think would be a good idea if it's done with a club in the Premiership, somebody like Fulham would be great. It's London. It's something that is useful for him. It's something that's going to give him game time, and it's local. So whereas what happened in Germany was just never ever do that again with Reiss Nelson. It just ended in disaster. He didn't want to be there. He was turning up late to practice. He got suspended, and that was after scoring 6 goals in his first 7 games. It just turned out to be a disaster. But I like the player. I actually would like him to stay and be developed. But the questions is if you've got, the left-hand side's already got Aubameyang, Saka, and Martinelli. Now the right-hand side has got Pepe, William, and Reiss Nelson. I mean, you can keep him and you can play him in League Cup and FA Cups and all that, but it's just not going to be good for his development. So I personally would like to see him go on loan. But guys, Dan, what's your thoughts on William? Guys in the chat as well, what's your thought on William coming to Arsenal? Good deal, bad deal, deal or no deal? Let's hear your voice in the chat room, guys. Dan.
I think it's a great deal, man. Like, especially when you look at Chelsea fans' reactions to him leaving and going to Arsenal, that tells you all you need to know. They don't want it to happen, bruv. So, like, he's been their best player for the last I would say since about 2016. Only Hazard can come close to him in that team. So that lets you know what sort of level he's been on consistently for the last few years. You know what I'm saying? So, and as well, free kicks, bruv. This guy's free kicks are dirty. So that's why I think he's going to be a good signing for us, man.
When he cuts inside and he curls, whoo, He's
yeah. And play skills. But I have to say, Apollo, I do think we're gonna play him on the left-hand side because I agree with the African Guna that we're gonna sell Lacazette, and I think we're gonna start playing Auba through the middle, have him on the left-hand side, and have Pepe on the right. And to me, that is way more threatening than Lacazette, Auba, and Pepe. Do you see what I mean? Just having that Willian in there, maybe a sneaky Coutinho behind them. You get me? Like, I think we're looking good for next year if we get him in. So yeah.
Yeah, and Ebony.
That's my thoughts.
Ebony, what's your thoughts on? First of all, I think it's Pro Evo talking about him appearing in a game in some form, and then they took it all off. Now, this could be anything, guys. That could be just made up. If you actually look, you can see where my hand is here. If you actually look, the way how his neck connects to the jersey, that's just wrong. Remember, this is all digital graphics. That could be a Chelsea picture, and his head just put on an Arsenal shirt. I played with graphics and all that lot for years, man. So I think that this is rubbish. So I don't buy into any of that crap. But Ebony, what's your thoughts on Willian coming to Arsenal?
Willian, yeah. I think he's a very good player, and as Dan said, he has been their best player other than Hazard. Would he be good for us? I think he would do. I think he'd be perfect on the left-hand side. But do we really want Lacazette to go? Okay, everyone's saying yes, but if that's the case,
Lacazette ain't got one man. You can't believe he was player of the season the year before.
No, he's great. He's a great player, and what I don't buy into is this whole but he's 31, yada yada yada. At the end of the day, if a player still has it, and he can produce, buy him. Bring him in. And I understand he's on a low. He's actually free. He's actually on a free.
Exactly.
So there's no money being exchanging hands there. So bring him in. We need that threat.
I mean, there'll be a signing bonus, but it's still a cheap option for the type of player that you're getting. If I said to you guys, bring somebody in on that level that's going to score and create 20 goals per season. I mean, it's going to cost you money no matter which league you're looking at. It's going to cost you a bag full of money. So it's a decent deal when we look at that. Vincey, you heard a 2-year deal. That's not what I heard today. It's also not what David Ornstein and John Cross are both saying. It's a 3-year with 4-year option. So
I've heard a 3-year deal.
I've heard both.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell which is reliable, because John Cross is saying if we sign Willian, we're not getting Coutinho, but then everyone else is saying Coutinho deals and advanced talks, so it's quite hard.
Yeah, as I said, the what I've been told today, it's actually the incentives on the contract that is being discussed at the moment. There's talk of 25 appearances, 35 appearances, the same thing that we did with Jack Wilshere's contract. And then bonuses paid accordingly. So that's what they're talking about at the moment now. That could take days to discuss, or it could take weeks, depending on what the player wants. But the player does want to come here, so it's just a formality, really. Vince is saying, I'd sell Nelson abroad. No, don't send him abroad. We did that last time. Didn't work, bro. Didn't work. Neomis.
For me, I'm looking forward to Willian coming to Arsenal. Out of all of the free agent wingers that we could possibly get, he is the best one out of all of them that we can get. So it's quite clear that the club have been looking for a winger for quite a while now, an experienced one. I do feel that we should sell Lacazette just because Eddie and Nketiah are coming through, who I don't see that much of a massive difference between the two. I do think that Lacazette's a better goal scorer than Nketiah, but I do think that the way how Nketiah has been playing, how I've seen him this season and last, like there is a player there that needs to be developed.
And remember, just before you carry on, remember Nketiah's goals per minute disagrees with that. His goals per minute is actually way higher than Lacazette's. Statistically.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, statistically.
Okay. then that's even more reason for us to swap out Lacazette, because I mean he's got 2 years left on his contract. A decision's got to be made. So this is a good opportunity for Willian to come in right now, and you know it's quite clear Eddie's trying to build this Brazilian core or Portuguese speaking core. So it's good all round for all the Portuguese speaking players that we have and ones that we might get. So very good option.
Hey, Mr. Arsenal Podcast, how you doing? Yeah, we're doing great, bro. When are you going to join us on the panel? Let us know when you're going to come on the show, and then I'll send you an invite, bro. I think, African Guna, before you go on there, I think it's really good in terms of what our options are. Without Lacazette, we've got we can move Aubameyang into the middle, and that would be great. Everybody would be happy. I know that. But we've also got Nketiah and Martinelli, who we can play in that position. So that is really good. The fact that we'll have a 21-year-old and Martinelli 19. Everyone's moved on for another year now. African Guna, what's your thoughts on William coming in?
Yeah, the first thing in regards to what Neom was talking about, he said best out of the 3 wingers that we have. But then don't forget Zaha, 30 million, left wing. And I would take that deal any day. So, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying they are, I mean, Zaha, I think, would be incredible signing for us. And 30 mil, that's, I mean, Premier League proven. I mean, his age, I mean, he's probably going to be, the output is going to be similar to Willian. So I just wanted to remind you that's still an option for Arsenal. I mean, obviously, if we sign Willian, I think that's out of the door. And yeah, as we've all said, I think signing him is a cheap option. He's a proven player. The only thing for me is he might be inconsistent. So, you know, yes, he has a lot of promise, but will he be able to deliver that on a consistent basis? He hasn't for Chelsea for most of the season. That's my only issue. But then if that means that we sign Coutinho and we sign Partey and Willian and the centre back, then I'm all for it. And as I said, I've heard 2-year and I've also heard 3-year with an option of another, and it seems pretty much a done deal within the next few days.
Am I the only one, guys, that thinks all this talk of centre back is just ridiculous? I mean, I don't get it, guys. I don't get it. I don't get it.
We are signing a centre back. It's today actually we broke the news that the Lille defender Gabriel, who's also Brazilian, has chosen Arsenal over United.
Yeah, but he's how old is he?
He's 26 or 27.
Yeah. The thing is, guys,
he's a left centre back.
We've got Callum Chambers, Pablo Mari, Mustafi's coming back. He's not going to be sold.
Yeah, peace out. We're getting rid of those.
But we can't sell a guy who's injured, so Mustafi's going nowhere.
Well,
you can't sell a guy. You can't sell a guy Mari who you just signed to a 3-year deal. You can't sell a guy William Saliba who's practically going to be. Is it me? I listen to Arsenal fans and I'm like, what are you talking about? It's almost like they've got this fixation of we need a centre back, and they really haven't even looked at the team. We don't
need more. How many have we got already?
We've got 9. We've got 9 centre backs.
Yeah, but they're all bad. We have 3 or 4 decent centre backs. So just because we have 9 centre backs doesn't mean that we don't need a centre back. I mean, I saw a tweet saying that even if Lionel Messi was available on a free, we should still not sign him and sign a centre back.
Yeah, and I thought that was a ridiculous tweet. Look, you've got you've got a 25-man roster, right? 25 men. 9 of those players are currently centre backs. That's more than a third of your team. And we're talking about let's go and buy a centre back when we need midfielders. I don't get it. We just lost Danny Ceballos.
We're not going to sign a centre back, guys. We're not going to sign a centre back at all. We're not signing the centre back. Shall I tell you why? Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Arteta specifically said.
Yeah. I thought it was just me, Dan. I thought it was just
Arteta said that he's going to follow Jurgen Klopp's model, innit? He said he's going to follow the Liverpool kind of model. And he's sorted out the defence in terms of organisation. But to find that one defender who's going to be the Virgil van Dijk kind of guy is going to take a long time, bro. And we're not going to just put them in there now. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to win the league next year. That's not what we're trying to do. Yeah. That Gabriel, who's 22, by the way, I think, that Gabriel. It's the Carlos guy, the other guy that we're in for, who's 27.
I mean,
yeah, but we're not signing centre back. Don't get
I mean,
that out
if
of your
you
head now,
sell
guys.
Rob Holding, which I'm a big Rob Holding fan, as you guys know, won us 2 FA Cups as well. Man of the match in the Southampton game. Really, really good player, coming off a horrible injury, but is coming back to form. If you sell Holding, you'll get value for Holding. If you sell Socrates, you won't get much there because he's dead food now. But that's still 2. You've got Zach Medley, who you promoted to the first team. I'd like to see Zach on loan. I'm not going to lie. I do want to see him play a lot more, especially at this level. So I'd like to see him get some boots on. So there might be space for 1. But again, you know, and I'd like to see Callum Chambers moved up into the holding midfielder role. I don't know what the hell's going on there. I mean, some foolishness we've been seeing there. Maybe Arteta is going to be on that, and we haven't seen what he can do with Callum Chambers because he's still injured. So guys, so it looks like the African Gunner. Did you finish with Willian?
Yeah, no, just in regards to, firstly, we're all speculating. We actually don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, we're all saying, oh, he's not gonna sign a center back, and then tomorrow
that's why it's called
it just doesn't make any sense if he does.
That's why it's called transfer.
I agree that we have 9 center backs, but I'm 100% sure that we're gonna be looking for a center back, and we're gonna offload at least 3 or 4 center backs, meaning we'll have maybe 5. We'll loan Zach Medley, meaning we'll only have 4 fit center backs, and we might be looking at potentially adding this guy. But at the end of the day, I'm also speculating. I have no clue. But in regards to what we were saying about Reece Nelson, I'd sell him because we have Emile Smith-Rowe coming in, and for me, I think if we sign Willian, we have Martinelli, we have ESR, we have Pepe, we have Oba who could play on the wing. Just too many wingers, man. So I wouldn't send him out on loan again. I'd just sell him and cash in. That's just my take on it.
Excellent. So, guys, we've got, we might as well talk about him. I did have the banner here to talk about our boy right here, Gabriel. What's everybody's thoughts on the Gabriel deal? Dan, talk to me. Can you hear me, Dan?
Yo, my stream's cutting out completely. Yeah. My stream's cutting out. What was the question?
Yeah, what's your thoughts on this potential offer that we've made with Gabriel?
I'm not too sure, man. I think we need, if we're gonna buy a centre back or a defender, we need to make sure we're getting experience right now, because I don't think we need any. We've got Saliba, we've got like Holding, who's on the younger side. He's still 25 now, I think. So like, we don't really need any more young guys, man. We need someone experienced that can replace David Luiz. That's an improvement on him, I think. And I'm not really feeling this Gabriel deal.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not worried about David Luiz because, you know, he's a leader in that 3 at the back system, and he's only there short term. Saliba, Mari, those are the guys I'm looking at. In fact, we talked about this plenty of times. Bertrand, Tony, all of us, we talked about this plenty of times. If I go into next season as with Mari and Saliba as the starters, I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with that. I wouldn't even complain. Ebony, what's your thoughts on potentially getting this guy into Arsenal?
Okay, I've not actually seen much of him, to be honest. But, you know, I mean, people have been raving on about him. So, you know, my question is, can he cut it in the Premier League? I mean, the French league is the French league is one thing, but the Premier League, as we know, is very physical and it's demanding. And as I always say on this show, on this podcast, Arsenal fans are possibly the most demanding fans in the world when it comes to new players. Can these new players hit the ground running? So I'm going to reserve judgment until I actually see him in action.
Right. So, and listen, what's going on, Alex, man? Good to see Alex in the chat. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Cannon Fodder TV, can you please go to his channel and subscribe? Quality channel, one of our brother channels here on 101. So it'd be good to see what you thought about the FA Cup win over the weekend, Alex. D is saying, Gabriel, bring him in, them to work well together, go young and aggressive, a rebound attack will score goals. Is that, when you say work together, is that with William Saliba? David, possibly, but I think that Saliba is our Van Dijk. When Saliba, I was watching Saliba in those training videos today, and boy, The guy's a man-child. I saw him standing next to David Luiz, and he made David Luiz look small.
He's taller than him.
Jesus, brother, is something else, man. He's just a man-child. He's just a man-child. Let's have a look. Yeah, see, there you go. Yeah. So you think it would be them two that's going to be a strong pairing, which means then everybody will literally have to go. So yeah, that's interesting. I did Ebony. Ebony, I did you, didn't I? Yeah, Neomis. What's your thoughts?
So I think he's a good player. He's someone that I talked about a few months ago. I kind of touching on the last points that we was making in regards to the defenders. The only way I see us signing this guy is if we do a William Saliba with him, and that we sign him and then loan him back to Lille, because we've got too many defenders now. And then next season we will need defenders, because Mustafi, David Luiz, and Socrates' contract all run out at the end of next season. So we will need replenishment. And if he is that good and Arsenal do sign him, then we can already have a ready-made player from the start of next season, when we really would need at least one new centre-back as well. So I say let's do a deal, but to bring him in now, again, numbers-wise, I mean, you still got Mavropanos, who's out on loan, who had a really good loan. I think he's out at Stuttgart now in Germany.
Wasn't that a permanent signing? He's gone, mate.
Is he gone?
Yeah, I think that's a permanent signing.
No, I thought it was a loan. Oh, okay.
I thought that. Can someone confirm that? I thought it was a permanent signing.
I thought it was a loan.
Yeah, I thought it was a permanent signing. African Gunny, could you just quickly check that for me, bro?
Yeah, I am quickly checking that.
But it's a good point you're raising, Liam. It's when you consider how much alone. Okay. So when you consider how many players, David, the guy's the guy. I've never seen him play a bad game.
No,
he's just been injured.
Yeah, he has. Come on.
He's not shit. If you watched him in, was it the Bundesliga 2 season, this past season, he was really good. He was one of their best players. That's why he got sent to a better team in the Bundesliga one. Like he's developing nicely.
That's why Dortmund and Borussia Mönchengladbach came in for him.
Yeah,
they wanted a permanent deal, and Arsenal was like,
Yeah, he's developing nicely, and again, he's that big, tall centre back. What I think he's 6'4", same height as Saliba.
Yeah, he's a big dude. Yeah.
So you know what, there are options there. Even if he was to sell Rob Holding, it'd still be Saliba, Mavropanos, Mari. Let's say this Gabriel guy as well. That's 4. You still got potentially Holding, or Zach Medley or Daniel Ballard coming through the academy. So there's still lots of options, even if we get to get rid of Socrates and David Luiz and Mustafi in the summer. So I think defense we are quite sorted, at least at centre back.
Yeah, what's good, Daniel, man? Good to see my cousin in the chat. The African Guna, what's your thoughts on Gabriel? Deal or no deal?
Yeah, as I said, I think it's gonna get done. I mean, from what I've been reading all day today, it's gonna get done for me. And I think that he's an upgrade on Mari, and he's an upgrade on David Luiz. We're definitely not selling David Luiz, since we just gave him a new contract. For me, it's Socrates, Holding. Somehow Mustafi the Clown is still gonna be here next season. He's gonna find a way to still be here because he's injured.
That's why he got injured. His agent said, "Bro, the only way you're gonna get through the summer is if you start fading an injury." My man's walking around like a three-legged dog right now.
The thing is, we're talking about not needing a center back and needing a midfielder. For me, I think we need both. I think we need a center defensive mid, aka Partey. It seems we're gonna get Coutinho. So on the creative side, that's done. We're gonna get a left winger in Willian. So the only missing piece for me is a center back. So yeah, I definitely would do a deal for this. And 30 million, and United fans are sucking him off. I mean, if you go on YouTube, these guys are taking down their YouTube videos saying welcome Gabriel, because apparently he's coming to Arsenal, which is quite embarrassing because they're in the Champions League, and Arteta definitely still has pull.
Yeah. For me, I'm thinking to myself, and always have done, and so was Tony, and so was Bertram, The only thing we need is midfielder. The midfielder is where the problem is, not the defense. Sure, it would be nice to get an upgrade on centre backs or defenders. We know that, but you only have to look at certain teams around the league. Manchester United, Chelsea, Spurs just lost Vertonghen. Luckily they resigned Toby. But where are their centre backs? Centre backs they're like offensive linemen in the NFL. They're hard to come by. And good ones that are hard to come by. Let's not just talk about above average ones. And the league is filled with above average ones. The guy I wanted last year was Cody, the Wolves captain. They ain't selling him. They're not selling that brother there, which is a real shame because I really rate him so highly. But the only way to get by in this market right now is to groom your own shit. That's the only way to get by. It's so tough out there, man. And a lot of teams are going to struggle. Next season is going to be really open because I can't see where these guys are going to buy players. Chelsea, Man City. Look at Man City's defense. Look how many games Man City's lost. That's all they got to do. All they got to do is fix that defense. So they're going to be in the market for a centre back. So guys, let's talk about Philip Coutinho. So with Coutinho, I talked about him last week, and I did say I didn't think this deal was going to happen because he had the option to come here in January, and he was not interested. And it's one of those things, when you go to the prom and you're sitting one side, the other gal is sitting on the other side. You can't get no gal, she can't get no man. And when you look at her, she look at you, and it's just like, well, I might as well answer for a dance because ain't nobody else gonna dance with me. And she's like, I might as well say yeah because no other man's gonna come up to me. So it's like that's where we are with Coutinho right now. Yeah, Coutinho's kind of run out of options. He's surplus to requirements at Barcelona, and Arsenal is a way for him to get back into the Premiership. It's a way for him to start as well because he knows Dani Ceballos is gone, and he knows that Ramsey position hasn't been filled. Coutinho knows he can walk in and it ain't going to be no Barcelona rubbish where you play 2 games and you bench for 9 games. You play 1 game, you bench for 5 games. If he came to Arsenal, he would be the main man. He would be the wizard, the Merlin, the guy in the middle waving the wand that dictates the whole shape of the team. And that's the reason why he's now looked at it and said, you know what? This is looking better than I thought it would. And they're playing in Europe. Might not be Champions League, but they're still playing in Europe. So, we're going to have to see how this plays out. I have changed my stance on this, though. It definitely looks like it's in the closing stages of being done. Or, no, I won't say closing. It's in the advanced stages is what I've been told today. I wouldn't say, don't take that from me saying it's a done deal because it isn't. But it's definitely in the advanced stages. Dan, and the guys in the chat as well, would you take Coutinho? It'd be a difficult deal because he's on 240 grand a week. I believe that we're offering to pay 50 to 60% of his salary. So the salary would work around 120 to 140 grand a week. Dan, what's your views on that?
Yeah, I'd definitely take him. I'm also hearing that there's a chance we might be trying to swap Guendouzi for him as well, apparently, a 9 mil or something like that. If that happens, that's just mental. Because we can get a lot. But we want him alone.
I think Guendouzi is going to Villarreal. I think he's going to where Emery is. Emery wants him. Emery bought him here, so he wants to take his boy with him.
But yeah, I think Coutinho is a good signing. I've seen him a couple of times for Bayern this year. He's been all right, man. He's still got some. You know what I like about him? He's small, but he's a lot of strength on the ball.
Yeah.
So,
typical Brazilian.
Yeah, man. I take Coutinho.
I liked him in the World Cup.
Looks like we're getting him anyway.
I thought he was a quality player for Brazil in the World Cup. I really liked him, the way he linked up with their front line and the wingers. And even when Firmino came on, they played really well together. Look, Liverpool won the title because they sold Coutinho and got all that Coutinho money. That's how valuable he was as a player, guys. And for someone of that caliber to come into Arsenal, it'd be hard to turn that business down. Ebony?
I think Coutinho would be a good signing. I mean, he's got Premiership experience. But do we really need him? Yes, he'll be great to have, but do we really need him? You know, I mean, where would he fit? All right, he'd be in the midfield, but then like, what happens to who do we get rid of?
We've already lost Ceballos, and we haven't replaced Ramsey, and that position is still open.
Okay.
The only
Okay,
the only way you feel that is with Willock or Smith Rowe or maybe even put Pepe there. You look, me personally, I put Martinelli. I put Martinelli anyway because he's just friggin' brilliant.
He's that type of player. I mean, also, if you're gonna bring in Coutinho, which would be great, then I'd also like to see the back of Xhaka.
Yeah, slightly a different position. It's more, it's more further up the pitch. It's more being that guy who provides the energy to the front three and less of protecting the back four. So it's slightly different. But I mean, if Partey comes in, then I don't want Xhaka playing. Yeah, I don't want Xhaka playing. If Partey comes in, then it's party all over. Yeah, but it's a different position really for Coutinho. But you take him, yeah?
Yeah, I'd take him. I mean, he played for Liverpool. He was great for Liverpool. I think he'd be great for us as well. He's got bags of experience. He knows the Premier League. He can tough it out. He'd hit the ground running because he's played in the Premier League. Why not?
Neil, miss, deal or no deal?
I'll take him on loan, but kind of touching exactly what Ebony has been saying. I mean, he's an attacking midfield player, but are we going to continue really playing with this number 10? I mean, the way how I thought we were going to be going with this midfield 4-3-3, whereby at least two of the midfield players can interchange with one another. If we're getting Willian as well, who plays on the wings,
everybody's lining up to answer questions here.
Hold on, guys. We're already going to be stocked out wide, so there isn't any point of him playing out wide. And yeah, he can play it as a number 10, and he's a very good number 10. But I just always thought we would have gotten a number 10 that can also play in central midfield as well, that could interchange. But
he could play centre mid. That's what I was going to say. He can play centre mid in the Santi role. If you actually watch him play, he plays a bit like Santi. He plays a bit like Santi. He's got that close control. He's got them biting little tackles where he would pickpocket and stuff. He can play that centre role. He's played it for Liverpool, but he can also play further up as well. He can play that role, man.
I think before the African Guna answers his question is Arteta's looking for that Kevin De Bruyne type of player. He's looking for that facilitator, creator, someone who's stabilizing. Because remember, our passing is shit in the midfield. It is so bad. Our possessional football is among the worst in the league. I've seen a lot of teams play in the league, and we're among the worst. I would say we're in the bottom 5 in terms of professional. We're not good on the ball. And for me, I think he's looking to find someone who's going to be that Kevin De Bruyne thing, and I think Coutinho can be that. African Guna, you wanted to ask Neil miss something?
Yeah, I was sorry. I think I cut off. My internet just dropped for a second. I was saying that we know that Arteta plays a 4-2-3-1, and he'll play in the 3 in the middle there. And Oba will play up front, and there'll be Willian and Pepe on the side of him. And then we'll have Xhaka, Partey, and then we have Tierney, Saliba, whoever, Martinez, and then Bellerin or Maitland-Niles, whoever stays. That's how I see it. In regards to Coutinho, 100% deal, but I've just read that because we're getting Willian, we're not going to get Coutinho, and John Cross has said that it's not going to happen. It was either one or the other, and since Willian is more likely, it seems that the Coutinho one is dead in the waters. But then again, I mean, it's just a bunch of different transfer rumors. So
yeah, that's not what I've heard, and my sources are very, very good. A lot of them football agents, so it's I haven't heard that at all. But guys,
just tweeted about an hour ago that that we can't get both.
Right. So, guys, that's really the news that we've come in today outside of Guendouzi going to Villarreal to follow Emery, which I think is a really good move. Look, Unai Emery, I thought, is a good manager. You don't win the treble at PSG, and you don't win with Sevilla and Valencia in the Europa Cup the way he has. It's just because of the language barrier and certain things happening. And, it happens with many teams. It's happened with a lot of good managers where things just break down. And I think Guendouzi, I think that would be a really good move for Guendouzi to go to Spain and follow Emery and kind of kick back and start back up the progression that he's, because for me, I thought he was our best young player.
I thought sell him. or would you loan him to Villarreal for like a season so he can get his mind right, and then potentially bring him back into the fold?
I'd have to sell him. I'd have to sell him.
I'd rather loan him. I'd rather loan him because he was, for me, Guendouzi was actually progressing, but then relationships broke down between him and Arteta. I'd actually loan him, let him develop his game, and then bring him back.
He doesn't want to come back. That's what I'm saying. There's the biggest reason not to loan him is because he's got 3 years left on his deal. When you loan him and he comes back, it devalues the players. It devalues the player completely, because the longer they go out on loan, the less years they have at the club contracted, which means the less value that they have in the market. Right now, his value is at his highest because everybody knows how good he is. He's still got 3 years left on his deal. He's a commodity. So therefore, you get what you can for him now, because you're not going to get that money for him later on down the road.
That's implying that you're going to sell him as soon as he comes back, and that we're not planning on keeping him for 3-4 years, because he's still young, right? So if we even loan him and he has a decent season, right? And the only reason I say loan him is because I don't think that Villarreal is going to give us 40-50 million for Guendouzi right now. And especially with Emery, I mean, he just gives me that cheap vibe. I feel like they're going to offer us like 20-25 mil, and we're just going to be like, yeah, we'll take it. And I just don't want that, because I think he can be a 50-60 million player.
It's a tough one, guys, because the only times when a player is difficult to sell is obviously if their market value is too high or if their wages is too high. And at the moment, I'd say he's worth 40 million. Probably worth a little bit more than that, actually. But his wages is not that high, so he is affordable. It's just what team is going to get their grubby hands on him. If Barcelona wanted to come in for him, he's a 60 million pound player. It's as simple as that.
Ironically, his wages are less than Mopai. And he was chatting shit to him. You didn't even know that the guy's earning more than him, and he's chatting shit. Oh, it's so funny.
Absolutely mad. So, guys, we are going to quickly look at. So we're finished really with our show, and we're going to bring up some names here. And I want you to go. I want to go around everybody and find out from you guys. Twist or stick, yeah? Deal or no deal? Who would you get rid of and who would you keep? So, Dan, let's go with you first. And guys in the chat, if you want to throw your numbers up and you throw in your insight to let us know who out of these guys would you keep and which ones would you sell. Dan, you go first. You
want my opinion on all of them, yeah?
Yeah. Just give us a quick run.
This season, for now, I'll keep Mustafi. I'll sell Guendouzi, sell Lacazette, keep Holding, sell Socrates, keep Torreira, sell Kolasinac, keep Maitland-Niles.
Excellent.
That's who I'll get rid of. Because the only reason I'm keeping Mustafi now is because I don't believe we're going to sign a centre-back who's going to be at least of his level or better this year. So
yeah. Nice to see you, Emery. And I think Guendouzi would do an amazing job at Villarreal, and the league is just suited for him as well. Ebony, which ones out of these would you deal or no deal?
Well, I'll sell Butters. That's Mustafi. Guendouzi, I'd keep.
Butters.
Lacazette, I'd keep. Mustafi's shit. He actually looks more attractive when he's injured. I keep Holding because he will get better. Socrates is rubbish anyway. I keep Torreira. Kolasinac can go back to the Bundesliga, and I keep Maitland-Niles.
Excellent. It's quite consistent. We're hearing guys saying let's get rid of Lacazette. Let's keep Holding. Get rid of Socrates. Obviously, the first two speaks for themselves.
I keep Lacazette. I keep him.
Oh, you'd keep him. You keep him. And we're hearing that they'll keep Maitland-Niles as well. Let's have a look at this. This Arsenal podcast says Matteo, Socrates, and said and keep the rest. D said Xhaka. I wish. Yeah. Listen, me and the African Gooner would drive him to the airport. I'd even pay for the cab. I'd do anything, man. I'd put him in
Forget the cab. I'll pay for the ticket, man.
I'll pay his plane fare.
Neomis.
So I would keep Torreira, Holding, and Maitland-Niles, and I'd sell the rest.
Wow.
I mean, I want to keep Guendouzi, but because if his attitude isn't going to change, then unfortunately he has to go. If there was even a chance that Guendouzi's attitude could like be repaired with the club with Arteta, then I'd want to loan him, like say, go out and get your head right, and then come back into our bosom, and we'll sort him out. But if he's not going to change, he has to go. Mustafi, I'm done with you. Lacazette, he's been good, but a decision needs to be made. So I'm going to say sell. Socrates, you were always a stopgap. Kolasinac, you're not good enough.
The thing with me and Lacazette is we don't lack strikers. We've actually got plenty of cover for strikers. We've got
that's the problem.
Yeah, we got players like Nketiah and Martinelli that we can't even get on the field, and Smith Rowe's coming in. So we've got all this attacking players that we struggling to fit into this matrix, and at the same time, our midfield is completely depleted.
Yep,
completely depleted. You know, bye Ceballos. He didn't even shut the door on his way out. Man, ain't nothing today, yesterday, nothing.
Can we bring Ceballos back? Is there something where we could bring him? Because I like Ceballos. Like, I thought he had a good end to the season. Like, and I do hope we could do some type of deal, but I haven't heard anything. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
From what I understand, you know, there is a possibility that we can keep him on another loan deal.
Yeah, I'd take that with an option to buy.
The bottom line with Ceballos is that Madrid was impressed with his season. They want to see him train with the team. They want to see how he looks with the team. And if they don't feel he can cut it, then it's up to the player then to choose where he wants to go. And then he'll probably choose Arsenal because he really enjoyed his time here. But we're not even at that point yet.
So the loan was too good. We have to suffer because his loan was too good.
Yeah, and you know it's good because we all want him back.
Yeah, I'm quite disappointed with that. But
we know it's good because we all want him back. African Guna, would you twist or stick, deal or no deal on these players?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to put my neck on the line that Ceballos will be at Arsenal next season on a loan. I'm pretty sure that's going to get done. I feel confident about that one. In regards to this list, you forgot to put Xhaka about 5 times in this list. Because I don't know why you.
Where's David? David's gone quiet, man. David, your boy. About your boy, David.
If we're being realistic here, I would sell all of them, including Torreira, my boy. If it meant that we were actually going to sign world class or above average players and invest the money correctly, I would sell all of them. But if I had to do it individually, Mustafi has to go, but won't go because he's injured, and no one is going to be dumb enough to take him. And not only that, I mean, even if a club comes in and offers a little bit of money, they're not going to match his wages that he has at Arsenal. He's way too comfortable at Arsenal. I mean, you see the way he dances in the changing room. That's a man who's really comfortable where he is, and he's not going to be wanting to move anytime soon. The next player, if I can see again, I don't remember who the next player is.
Oh, sorry.
I just see.
There you go.
Yeah. Guendouzi, as Neoma said, I would keep him because I think he has so much value, but I don't think that it's ever. I mean, I don't think that the
relationship is gone. It's gone.
With Arteta. So yeah, I would sell him and get the money in for him. And not only that, I feel like if we do sell Guendouzi, we're forced to get a creative midfielder, because if we keep him, then the board can say we have a creative midfielder, we have Guendouzi. I mean, you know how they are. They always make excuses and say bring back players and say he's like a new signing because he's been injured for 6-7 months. So yeah, no, for me, sell him, get the money. Lacazette, unfortunately, been a great servant. He's 27, and I don't want him to retire at Arsenal.
No, he's older than that. He's older than that.
He's 28.
Yeah, he's 28. He'll be 29 next season.
Okay, so but my point is that I think his next contract is the be it end all, right? I mean, if he signs another contract with Arsenal, it means he's going to be retiring at Arsenal, and I don't want that. I want Aubameyang to be the central striker, and we had this problem when Wenger was here, right? He signed 2 incredible strikers, and we always had this issue with Wenger where we wouldn't play Lacazette and Aubameyang together. And I still think that we have that problem today. And we've only, we've addressed that problem by pushing Aubameyang out on the left and playing Lacazette up front. And it's been working, but it's not as effective as it can be. So for me, sell Lacazette, cash in on the money. I really want us to give him to Atletico and get Partey. Holding, I would sell. Socrates, you've been a great Greek warrior. But as Neoma said, it was definitely a stopgap. So get rid of him. Torreira, I really like Torreira, and I don't think that he's had a good enough chance. I think this season Emery ruined him by playing him as a number 10. I mean, that just killed the life out of him. But if we had to sell Torreira to get Partey, I would 100% do it. If we don't get Partey, and that's not an option, then I would keep Torreira. Kolasinac, as I said many times, someone call up the UFC and let them know that one of their athletes has made his way to the Emirates. I mean, they must be missing a fighter. And then Maitland-Niles, to be really fair, I would have sold him 3 months ago, but now we have to keep him. I mean, he's just way too good. And as I said, I think Arteta's worked magic on him. He looks like a completely new player. I think he's better than Oxlade-Chamberlain, and I regard Oxlade-Chamberlain as a utility player. He could play anywhere, and he had the ability to play anywhere. And I think Maitland-Niles is even better than Chamberlain, so we definitely have to keep him.
Yeah, we got a question here. It was not even a really question. It's a statement from Luke Wilson. He's saying no disrespect to Arsenal, so he's probably not an Arsenal fan. He's just called us deluded as well, which is really nice. Thank you very much, Luke. And Luke is saying it's going to take us 6 or 7 years to get back to the top. That's a ridiculous statement because it doesn't take you that long to get back to the top of anywhere. The numbers also don't back that up. But just because it's a question, I'll go with it. Dan, how long do you think it's going to take Arsenal to get back into the top 4?
Top 4, no, not that long.
Into the top 4?
Yeah,
I think we can do it next year, man.
Me too.
But to get back to the top, like where we belong. Where we belong, I think it's going to take about 4 years to get back to like winning the big trophies again.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? Like the league or whatever. I think challenging for that's going to take about 4 years.
I agree with that. When you look at the statement that Luke's made, and then you look at the development cycle that Jurgen Klopp has had, and even when Pep Guardiola had all the money in the world with Man City, it still took him 3 years. So if you look at Klopp, 4 or 5 years, and he was really close. I think 4 years is definitely a good shout with the backing from the board, with Arteta in there. Look, Arteta alone is turning things around in that team, regardless of anything else, and that's why I think next year, I went out on a limb last month and said to you guys, I think that this team's got a great chance to get into the top 4. I'm going to stand by that because of Arteta himself. Give him a full season, and I think that he's going to work wonders. I really do. I really trust in this manager. And Ebony, how long do you think it's going to take us to get back to the top?
I think if you're talking about the top, maybe another 3-4 seasons. Top four can be done, can potentially be done next season if we take our chances and if we get the right players in the right positions, and Arteta, he sticks to what he changes the formations and he changes the game plans as and when, like he has done this season. Top four is possible next season. But with regards to the top, I'd say another 3 or 4. But next season, I think, with this FA Cup win, it can be a springboard to go on to bigger and better things. Yeah. And one of those bigger and better things is top 4, because that's where we want to be. That's where we should be. But we've been unlucky for the past 3 or 4 seasons. So next season, top 4.
Yeah, I think we're unlucky. I think being unlucky is definitely something. When you look at the amount of penalties and VAR luck that teams like Man United have had, it's no surprise they're in the top 4. And if you look at all the bad decisions that Arsenal's had, it's no surprise we're not in the top 4.
But then again, we've lost games. We've lost games that we should have won. So we didn't take our chances.
That's true, but I do want to say to Luke, I'm a humble fan. We're not good enough, and it's as simple as that. I know you've made another statement saying you bet any money that we're not going to make top 4 next season, but if we don't, If we don't make that jump, then we don't. But at the moment now, we're not good enough for top 4, and that's just me being honest. We lack the players. We lack the talent in the midfield as far as positional footballers goes, and we're just not good enough. And that's the reason why Chelsea were favourites last week in the FA Cup final. And look how that turned out. So there is a way that we can achieve top 4. Neomis, where do you think our ceiling is? How long do you think it's going to take this team to get back to the top?
Well, in terms of top 4, I mean, I've said this before that I don't think we'll get top 4 next season. I think it is possible for us to get top 4 next season if a lot of things go our way and if we just stop making silly mistakes. But I think top 4, to start getting top 4 again consistently in a couple of seasons, in terms of winning the league, I think that's where that'll take a lot longer. So I would say closer to about another 5 years to win in the league. But I do think that with this manager, we're on that journey. And I think that, you know, in another 3 to 4 years, I think we're going to get quite close in several seasons. The same way how Liverpool were close, last season as well. So we're going in the right direction. And let's just keep making the right decisions. Let's get the signings right. And like, I'm positive that we can shave that down like easily. Just a lot of things just have to go our way.
Yeah, La African Guna, in terms of where we are, we finished on 56 points, and Chelsea, who finished in the top 4, was on 66 points. So the gap was 10 points. And as I said, we weren't good enough. Yeah, there's no two ways about it. I don't think anybody can argue with that. How long do you think it would take this team to get back into the big time?
Just a couple of points. The first one to Luke, you can't bet money that you don't have. That's the first thing. The second thing is in regards to what we're saying. I mean, to be real, it really depends on what Arsenal do in this transfer business. I know we all want to say we're going to make top 4. We're going to make top 4. And I'm confident in Arteta because I think he's definitely made a lot of improvement and we will be better next season. But if we have a lot of the same players, aka, you know, we've talked about this a lot on the podcast. If the spine is still the same, Xhaka, Mustafi, David Luiz, I mean, Lacazette or Eddie, I mean, nothing is really going to change. For me, I definitely think we can make top 4 next season. But in terms of challenging, you know, to make, to win a Premier League or to actually do something in the Champions League, I don't know if we're ever going to get that far because, I mean, let's be real. Liverpool and Man City and United and Chelsea, they're going to keep spending more than us. And over the years, historically, their recruitment is better than us. So that's my only worry. As an Arsenal fan, of course, I want us to be challenging for the title, but realistically, it might take more than 4 or 5 years. And then I just wanted to point out another thing that Gabriel, the defender we've been talking about, just went on an Instagram Live, and a bunch of Arsenal fans rated his Instagram Live, and one of the guys said, "Touch your hat if you're signing Arsenal," and he gave it the little tap. So just some transfer news for you. I mean, you know how it is. You have to get excited at the littlest of things. You know, this is that's what Raul and the hierarchy have done to Arsenal fans. We pray for big signings because we're not used to it. Like, look at Man City. They've signed 2 incredible players on top of already what they have. Already in the first week, they've spent 60-70 million on 2 quality players, and that's a fan's dream, you know. So
yeah, but we just have to keep it humble, and we got to take it one day at a time, and we've got to understand that last summer we spent more than any other team. So it's nice to talk about all these big money teams, but they didn't spend more than Arsenal last season. And remember, all those teams, United, Chelsea, they also buy in installments and have been doing that way bit longer before we have. So it's just one of those things that we've become accustomed to. If it means that our business model means that we have to pay for players in installments, then that's how it's got to be done. Everybody wanted Pepe last year, and where did he end up? And I love me some Pepe. Pepe's a quality player. Give me some more of that this year with Partey. Yeah, give me some more of that this year, and I'll be a happy bunny. But for me, it doesn't matter what players you have. Look what Claudio Ranieri did with $500 million worth of Chelsea. He didn't do anything with it until Mourinho came in and got them ticking. So it wasn't. Yes, it was the money, but at the same time, the manager couldn't unlock the actual team's potential. And I think that Arteta is the man to unlock this team's potential. We just have to back him. Yeah, guys, that's it for today. Any closing arguments from you guys? The floor is free.
I think, like I said,
So
go on, Danny.
I think Danny's slightly.
I was just gonna say, I think it's really important that we do sign Coutinho, and I think it's really important that we sign Coutinho and Willian, those two players in particular, to keep people like Aubameyang in the squad. I wanted to say that at the beginning, but that's the sort of thing he's going to be looking at, those sort of players to come into the squad, not like these young guys and that. He wants to see stuff that's going to make things happen right now for us. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, for me, I think we'll have a very good season. Depending on who goes and who stays, it might be the same as this season. It might not be. Our fortunes may be turned around, but just like with the FA Cup, I'm keeping faith, and I have faith that we will do better next season than we have this season. So always keep the faith. I kept the faith against Liverpool. I kept the faith against Man City. Kept the faith for the FA Cup. I'm keeping the faith for next year. So people need to keep the faith. And by the way, Luke Wilson's a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, he's still crying about that.
No, that's fine. Luke, please. I will definitely invite you on. I will invite you on, Luke, when the end of next season comes, so we can have the conversation again. And if you guys finish above us, that'll be great for you, obviously. If we finish in the top 4, though, that would be great. And if we don't, I'll be humble to say, look, we weren't good enough, and that's just football, yeah. But that's it. Any other closing arguments, guys? Neomis, African Guna?
Yeah, Neomis, you have something to say?
For me, it's just let's just get these signings right. I think that's the key part over the summer. If we get the signings right, then we could quite easily finish in the top 4. So that's what I'll be. Fingers crossed that we get it right.
Yeah, African Guna?
Yeah, Luke, pretty salty over there, licking your wounds from Saturday. But yeah, in terms of us, to be honest, I think that the Willian deal is going to be announced next week. I honestly don't think that Coutinho is going to get done. I feel like it's going to be like in January when we keep getting linked to him, and then eventually either he's going to stay at Barca or he's going to go to another club because we won't be able to afford him. The center back, I really hope we get him. And Partey for me is the number 1 priority. I mean, first it's signing Aubameyang, and the second one for me, it has to be Thomas Partey, because I cannot watch Granit Xhaka all of next season doing the same old stuff. For me, he makes my cholesterol and my blood pressure go high. So I just need to be like out of the first 11, and the only way that can happen is if Partey comes in. So yeah, I mean, looking good for us. As we all said, the season completely turned on Saturday. I mean, we have Chelsea fans coming into the comments, just trying to shit talk us, but we won a trophy, and honestly, we were more successful than they were this season. So at the end
we
of
won a trophy, Chelsea. You ain't.
All right, guys, listen, that's it for today. Dan, where can we find you, bro?
As usual, just Idhan YT, at Idhan YT, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and in the 101 group on Facebook.
Excellent. And Ebony, you can find, as you know, her on 101. You're on Twitter as well, and you're on your radio show?
Yeah, radio show, which I'll talk about next week, if we're having a show next week. Well, Facebook, Insta. Yeah, usual places.
Excellent. Neomis, where can we find you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, AFC Neomis, as well as on Twitter, AFC Neomis as well.
Excellent. And La African Gooner, where can we find you, bro?
You can find me on Twitter at La African Gooner, and you can find me on the 101 on Arsenal Facebook page.
Excellent. And that's it from us, guys. We're going to be back Sunday. Sunday, we are going to be doing our player ratings of this season. So we're going to rate each player of the season. So it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be one of those all-nighters. We're going to pull it all-nighter on Sunday so we can get through the whole damn roster. But we're going to do the quick version, so it's not going to be singled out long. We're going to just do sections by section, so it won't be as long as I'm making it out. I'm just having a joke there. But we're hopefully going to have a full panel. We'll try and have a full panel of 6 so we can have some more fun. And that's it. Luke, I hope you're doing well, bro. Tottenham will finish above you. And you know what, mate? We'll win a trophy next season, and Tottenham will be 14 years without a trophy. That's what will happen to them. So, guys, that's it. That's it from us. Peace out. FA Cup champion winners, Champion League, Champion League.
London is
Peace
red.
out, guys.